for my brother David to jump in. Hey, man, we get started, man. It's always a pleasure having my brother Roy in the house, in the building. What's going on with you, my brother?
Oh, I'm good. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. I really, we're going to cover a lot. I wanted to cover a lot, you know what I'm saying, today. But I really wanted, to really uh, talk about Christianity, religion, and how that affects, Black Americans. Because I feel like a lot of the times we kind of docile because of religion. Us being socialized, turn the other cheek, and all this other bullshit. So I feel like a lot of the times that is I would say the epicenter of a lot of the reasons why we don't smash on people. Like yesterday, me and David, we did a space, and I was asking them questions about how people could just come in and use our culture and do all this other stuff, but they don't even like black folk, And then you got Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes talking about Latinos and black people co-created hip hop, and it's like, nigga, that is not what happened. So, there go my brother David right there. So, my thing is, my question to y'all is, do y'all feel like religion, Black Christianity, is the reason why we as a people are so docile, so decadent, so lacking intrinsic value in each other? Do y'all feel like religion, Black religion, we talk about Black religion, and when I mean Black religion, let's keep it in context. I'm not talking about Ifa. I'm not talking about voodoo and Boudoum and Kundum, our ancient religious systems. I'm talking about religion. I'm talking about religion today. Your first AMEs, your Baptists, your Kojics, those religious, you know, uh, beings or religious atmospheres. Do you feel like that is dumbing us down as a people? Brother Roy, man, you go ahead and go first.
Oh man, um, I think it can be part of, especially when we go to church, but I don't think, because our forefathers, they fought, and I know a lot of people will say, well, the church, but during those 60s eras, they had guns and they fought. So I don't know if it's really all the blame is on the church. So I'm gonna listen a little bit, but I know they was fighters, they was riders, and they wasn't no punks. So I don't know. I don't really know, brother.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We just want to get it. I just want to get everybody's perspective. David, man, my brother, what do you think? Do you think, same question to you, you think Black Christianity, Black Catholicism, you think that has dumbed us down as a people, made us where we are sleeping and not awake? What do you think about that?
Yeah. I would have to say that I would say altogether Christianity has dumbed us down. I think Western Christianity, though, when you talk about it, I think when you think back or talk about Black Christianity, starting off with Black Christianity, it was all for good, intense purposes. It was all for the empowerment of the people, faith-based. It was original. Dr. Asa Hillard always says that he says in his book always that older is better, right? He says older is better because the when it comes to our history or even our religious beliefs, because it's the closest to the original. So I think when you talk about like the Ethiopian Catholicism and stuff, I think that is the I would say that's a driving force. I think now when you talk about here in America now, it's been so westernized that yes, it has dumbed us down and it's kept us in a state of sleep. It's kept us in a state of unawareness. We're put in the type of position as to where we are consistently forgiving our enemy, but they haven't gone over what do you do after you forgiven your enemy. I understand in the Bible it says to forgive your enemy, even in the, you know what I'm saying. So if it says to forgive your enemy, what do you do afterwards? That's not properly explained. They stopped it there. It's definitely dumbed us down, definitely historically, because they created in the 1800s, they created the slave Bible, in which they used the Bible as a tool to psychologically keep us asleep, to keep us plugged into the matrix, I guess, if you would say. With them creating these slave Bibles, they took out a lot of the revolutionary parts within the slave Bibles, and that will motivate us and cause us to go into thought, into deep thinking, deep planning. So when you take a look at it now, how it has transpired now, we don't even, as a people, I'm talking about as a whole, Black people as a whole, we don't even have the thought of revolution, you know what I'm saying, on our minds. The thought of revolution is far gone as a whole, not just certain individuals. I understand certain people out there, they want the revolution. They going about it. They go about it in different ways, but just as a whole, we're not. The church has a lot to do with that. The church will not give the true facts and true history because they understand, number one, they're funded by the government, a lot of these churches. And number two, they know and understand what it would do to their congregation. It would decrease their congregation. As for the Black churches in the 1800s and the early 1800s and the early 1900s, there was no government funding for them in that aspect. They started their own AMEs, but that's further down the line. The AME church and everything, that's late part of 1800s, right? So when you think about it, these people were not engaged with the government as for laying in the same political bed with them. You know what I'm saying? So they use the churches for different reasons. So the same reasons we use the reasons that we use the church for now, we don't use it for the same reasons they used it for then. You have the pastors, the ministers, elders, deacons. You have these different denominations. The Kojic that me and you was involved in, Warren G. You got the Pentecostal. You have the Baptist, and you have all these different type of denominations. But look at what it does. Doesn't it remind you of the imperialism or colonialism that happened in Africa? Don't it remind you of the separation that they've done over here in America to us? Divide us by our religious beliefs or languages, and then take over those parts and not allow us to have what we started, what we created. It's pretty much the same thing. So, in a big nutshell, man, yes, they have. It has kept us asleep because it's not giving us the proper tools that we need towards true liberation, which is Black power.
Woo! Hey Hey, my brother Roy, go ahead, man. Respond to that, my brother.
Well, I just wanted to actually piggyback on some things because, and I'm always speaking from just my point of view because I know me. But when I was younger and studied the Bible with my grandparents and my mother and father, it was different. Like the pastor wouldn't say things like, there's a passage called David's prayer when he's praying. And David's prayer is one of the most vicious prayers I ever heard in my life. When he's asking God to allow him to smash the head of his enemies' babies against stone rocks. And they're not teaching that in church. All they teach is, what you just said, love thy enemy as thyself and all of that. But there's a lot in the Bible that they don't even cover. They make sure to stay away from. And as with the slave Bible, like the brother said, they're now in cahoots with the state, where the state says, we'll give you this money, but you can't speak against this, or this. And if you do, we're going to take this money from you, which then holds people captive to never really learn unless they learn on their own. And most of them don't even learn on their own because they only go to church to listen to what the preachers say, clap. Oh, yeah, that was great, Pastor, that was great. But now you docile and you don't know what to do because back in the day, like I just said, a lot of our forefathers wasn't no punks. They had guns and they was willing to use them for their freedom, especially during the civil rights movement. Even Martin Luther King had a pistol. Don't let him fool you. He understood what was going on. Even he had a pistol. But as time went on, it got to be, we'll just go to the pastor and leave it up to Jesus. And after that, okay, what we going to do now? Just pray some more. Well, what we going to pray? Pray John 3:15. Well, this ain't helping. Well, you can't go against the Lord. Well, we got to prove it because we got an issue with what's going on with us in real time. And you telling us, wait till we get to heaven. Well, we tired of waiting. Our forefathers had to wait. Our forefathers before them had to wait. And now you telling us to wait. And while we waiting, everybody else coming in, jumping ahead of the line of us. And we just tired of the bull. I land my plane.
Ooh, we might have been some people. Look, I would say me and David, we probably are more impartial. I know I am because I grew up Kojic and I grew up being at church 1,000 hours a week. You know what I mean? So I know, but this isn't about my perspective. And you guys are both right. Just to piggyback off what you said, you're right. These churches are being paid. The black churches, we can thank David Rockefeller and the 501c3, and that's a controlled substance, is like what I like to call it because it's controlled, and contrived. So yeah, and if you speak about things that are detrimental to the power structure, the dominant society, then yeah, they will remove that 501c3 and sanction you under the guise of. And David could tell you more about it. I just know because I've read about it and I've heard David talk about it. But now I'm going to start asking y'all real questions. Since y'all said that, now I'm going to go a little further. And this ain't to offend anyone. Do y'all feel like today's black Christianity, we're not talking about back in the day, and I'm glad y'all gave examples. I'm talking about today's black Christianity. You got T.D. Jakes, Bishop Noel Jones, you got all these prominent preachers. Do you feel like they are helping black society, enabling black society, or hurting black society? Brother Roy, you can go, and then David, go after him.
Oh man. PUSSY. They in it for the money. Period, point blank. End of story. Nothing else. Here, buy my book. I got this recording you can listen to. All this mumbo jumbo. Half the time when they talking, they might say the Lord and Jesus 2 times out the whole time they talking. So mumbo jumbo. They what was the word? Tickling their ears. I'm not gonna tell you what you need to hear, but here goes something real good. It's called pimping, where I come from. I'm gonna get in your ear and girl, look here. You know the Lord love you and I love you too. And I'm gonna rub your back. And you know we gonna get there when we get there. And don't worry about nothing. And keep on keeping on and just put some money in the collection plate, if you will, baby. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bunch of bullshit, man. Bottom line. They ain't talking revolution. I'll tell you that. They ain't talking get up, get out, and get something. And if anybody touch you, break their neck. They ain't saying that. Because if the congregation was saying that, everybody will be scared. Because you ain't going to come into church half naked. You ain't going to come into church oogling the sisters. You ain't coming in with all that. Because we ain't allowing all that. Because the men that stepped up and said, oh no, well, this ain't going. And then the sisters going to let it be known. We want you in here, but you can't come in here like that. You can't come just rolling out the club, rolling up in here. That ain't how this works. And that's the problem. That's how people think church work. I can go over here and dance with the devil, but I'm going to go over here and tell the Lord, I showed up. Because somebody said, oh, come as you are. Yeah, come as you are, but don't stay that way. That's the whole point of that. That's the whole point of getting up and doing for yourself. But as long as you keep saying, oh, I can just keep going and the Lord going to forgive me, everything good. No, it ain't good. And that's why we're in the situation we're in now. But they give you the Bible. You can read the Bible on your own. Like anything else. You can go in there and read it yourself. Get you a dictionary if you don't understand some of the words. Because the pastor, I guarantee you, ain't going to want to talk about certain things. And if once you see he don't want to talk about certain things, you got to cut that loose. Because that's a big old book. And they only talk about a pamphlet page of faith and this and that. I'll rest my plane.
My bad. Hey, I'm laughing because what you said. Hey, man, I'm just laughing because I've heard family members. My grandfather was a big proponent of study the religion. He was more on a Nation of Islam perspective. Study all religions. Know what they're talking about and know what you're doing. Know what you're walking into when you go in there. Don't go in there blindly. Don't go in there with a blank slate and let them paint you. Don't go in there with an empty canvas and let them start painting your canvas. No. Know what you're going into so you won't be, as my grandfather would always say, you don't want to be a sheep. You know what I mean? You don't want to be sheeple because, there's wolves in religion too. So I appreciate that. David, man, you next. What you think about that, my brother?
Okay, so you said, ask the question again. Do we think if they are hurting, helping?
Do you think Black Christianity today, and yes, I'm calling out the T.D. Jakeses, the Noel Joneses, all them people on that show, Preachers of LA, all these big prominent pastors. What's the Bishop Blake, the Kojic bishop in LA that got that dome on Crenshaw? I'm calling all of them to the floor. Do you think these churches are Brandon T. Jackson's dad? He's another big time preacher. Do you think today's Black Christianity, today, are they helping Black folk in our community? Are they enabling Black folk in our community? Or are they hurting Black folk in Black society or our community today?
I believe they're doing all three. They're doing all three. So they are, I'll say it to you like this. They are helping the Black community in the sense of this. By their non-participation in the Black struggle, they are opening up the eyes of Black people. They're basically proving a lot of these Black people to be true, to be right. For a long time, Black people have been saying, the church is not really for us. The church is not for us. It's, you know what I'm saying? Just the organization itself, the frame is hypocritical. But a lot of us didn't believe that, So, you got the Rodney King beatings and you got the beatdown and you got the riots and the massacres that happens. And you still do not see now. You got the police shootings. You got the so-called black on black crime, which I don't believe there's a such thing. But you have black people killing other black people, and you don't hear nothing from the church. So in essence, they are helping the black community by saying, hey, you know what? We knew that they didn't have our back, but it's not so much of just the people, it's the framework. They're a prisoner to themselves. They can't come outside of that shell because they don't own and control their own religion. Okay, they are enabling folks, absolutely, because your people are already asleep. A lot of black people is what I'm speaking about. They are already asleep. They are unaware. A lot of black people live in this Western society, which is nothing but individualism. It's an individualism type society. That type of society would never work for a black person because we are supposed to thrive in the we society, collective unity, not a me society, individualism. The church, a lot of the times, are enabling those folks who are not aware because they are keeping them asleep. If you are aware, if you understand, you come into the knowledge of who you are as a black person, as a melanated person, then you will understand that it is a we society that you must live in or you must create. You have to create that type of environment. If we create a lovely, if we are filled full of love, I'm talking about real love, then we will create a lovely environment. Dr. Amos Wilson talked about this in all of his speeches, basically, that he gave, and especially in his book when he speaks about special education for black people, black children in particular. When you take a look at it, we thrive better or more successfully, again, when we operate in unison. But the church, again, keeping us asleep by forgive your neighbor, but they don't tell us what we must do after you forgiven your neighbor, the person that is closer to you. Who is your neighbor? Right? We have to really describe. So by you not giving and not delivering the true knowledge and understanding to that group of people, then you are keeping them in a state of stupor, in a state of where they are under the anesthesia. You are keeping them paralyzed mentally and spiritually. And if they're paralyzed mentally and spiritually, they won't act physically. They're also hurting the black people today because of the fact that they're not teaching financial literacy. And I really hate to use that term financial literacy because I don't know, man. It just really rubs me wrong saying that about black people, but they don't deliver the true knowledge of what economics is really about. Black power is all about obtaining black economics, controlling the flow of your money that's flowing in, the money that's flowing out, how many times it bounces. You have control. They don't do that. They don't elevate that way of thinking. Here it is, these churches, these mega churches, the TD Jakes, the Joel Osteens. We know Joel Osteen, he's not gonna talk black liberation. But the Joel Osteens and I'm down here in Georgia. You have the Tyler Perry's, his studios is all about the church folks. These people can reach thousands and tens of thousands of ears of listeners per week. This is per week, not once a month. So every Sunday, TD Jakes can reach tens of thousands of people. He's got these pastors and ministers can fill up a football stadium on a consistent basis, but will not deliver what true economics can do for Black people, how it can really liberate us, right? From the mindset first. They don't educate us on these things. And that's the problem. So they're causing more harm. Not only that, they keep us in a state of stupor, and they allow these politicians like the Joe Bidens, these Democrats, some of them allow these Republicans, it doesn't matter, from each party. You're dead either way. Both of them are going to kill you. It's just one going to do it with style, the other one's going to do it with no style. They allow these politicians to come in and speak to us, to hype us up, to look forward to just voting one more time, and maybe that one more time that's going to get us the real liberation that we need. Meanwhile, they're not asking the most important questions as to how are we going to deliver a lot of our king warriors that's locked up in prison right now. How are we going to deliver our queen warriors who is forced to fend for themselves and their families because you took the men off the streets, or because you fed the men poison? We didn't have to take it, but let's just be for real. A lot of people, trouble just come to you. They don't deliver that. These politicians don't talk about how they're going to solve that problem or problems alike. So they enable, they hurt, and they help. Out of all three, I think they've caused more hurt than enabling or good, for the simple fact that you've turned people away from the true knowledge of what God is. I'm not saying God is a he or God is a she, but you turn people away by the hypocrisy, and you display the hypocrisy and never did anything about it. It's all a political game. It's all a game. And if you can play the game right, you can make money being a minister, pastor, deacon, whatever you want to be in the church. That's just what it is. Martin Luther King said that the church is the most segregated place in America on Sundays. And it is. You feel me? I've been in a church where Philando Castile had just got killed that week. They didn't speak on it that weekend. That Sunday, nobody prayed for his family. Nobody said anything. This was in a so-called non-denominational church. They said nothing. They did nothing. Not only that, people out here can see the real. We understand the only thing you got to do to separate the church is speak on Black issues. Just separate the church, period. Because you got those whites in there, you got the Puerto Ricans, Latinos, whatever you want to call them, they're in there, and they're going to say, wait a minute, this doesn't benefit us. What about us? They're not going to want to do that, brother. So, and all in all, out of all three, I think they've done all three, but they've caused more harm than good.
Man. No, we gonna stay on it for just a second. We got shout out to my brother, man. Bad boy, good talk. I gotta get with this brother, man. The time zone, man. I'm thinking that he's on my time zone, and I hit him up. We gonna get it together, but I'm glad to hear, my brother. Same question to you. Do you think the Black church? You think it's helping us, hurting us, or enabling us? What do you think?
All right, peace, King, Queens, those that are there, and my brother that was speaking. I definitely heard many of your points. Let me just say this, right? When what I learned, he was talking about prison, as some of you may know, or, I don't know who here would know, but I was in prison. I just came home, 35 years basically, but I did 32 straight, for a crime I didn't commit. So I was wrongfully convicted. I'm on a Netflix and all that other mess, man. But nonetheless, here's what I learned being in prison, man, because I brought the Nation of Islam into our prison system, believe it or not. You know what I mean? And here's what I learned from Islam to Christianity. The man I called my dad is a Jesuit priest, man. When I was behind those walls, this particular white man. So we gotta develop these issues better, right? But that's who held me down, believe it or not. We go to joint and it's 1,000 rap songs out here about my homie upstate. But if you check those receipts and you check those Christmas cards, it ain't no bunch of letters coming in. You feel me? That's a fact. I know I'm there. I see all the other brothers going through it. But what I learned about the church, man, was this: they're inoperable. And the only way for us to put them in the situation to show that they're inoperable for what they're called to do as the duty, if they're God's people, is by putting them under the structure as we would someone that made automobiles or people that made planes. There'd be people that would be checking every end of that plane. You dig what I'm saying? Making sure this is connected, that's connected. And then they would have a production. What did they produce? How many flights did it take? How far did it go? You know what I mean? They would check into all that. We don't hold the churches accountable when we talk about whether it's the TD Jakes and these type of people. And I just used to watch TD Jakes in the joint. I used to watch them all. I mean, that's all I could do. I'm locked in 23 hours a day. But the idea is I figured out how they're playing it. You know what I mean? The church, man, is supposed to be a hospital for sinners. So I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. If you went to a regular hospital, right? And when you went to that hospital, man, say you broke your leg and you got insurance. When that insurance wear off, as soon as them doctors tell you well, and that insurance well off, you know what I mean, it wears off, and then if they're gonna say you out of there. Now, if you turned around and was like, nah, I just feel like chilling a couple more days, they're gonna be like, hell no. Insurance is done. Your time is up. We've healed you. Okay, cool. In the church, the reason I say it's supposed to be a hospital for sinners, how come my grandmother, my aunts, they've been in that church since I left and before I left and since I was a kid? You telling me they ain't healed yet? They ain't came out of there and delivered to the rest of the world yet? So all these people that TD Jake's been having all these years, I'm not just using him as an example, all of them, if you look at our community, how come so many of their kids were in prison with me then? If the mothers had learned something and the church was producing, it would produce for the black family. So how come we in the state we in right now, when they say black on black crime, how could we have that if these production companies of religion were bringing it to their hospitals and curing us? That's what I'm trying to get across, bro. That's how I look at them. Peace to the gods.
Woo! Hey, hey, you speaking real knowledge right now, and that's a great perspective, and I like that. So since you said that, I'm going to say this. Out of all these prominent preachers and pastors, I've only seen one, and this is document history. You can go back and look at it on YouTube. I've only seen one preacher, pastor, mega church, and that's Fred Price. And he has the Crenshaw Center out there in Los Angeles, California. And he had the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson on there. And Dr. Claude Anderson was preaching from Powernomics and Black Labor White Wealth. That's the only prominent pastor I've ever seen with a mega church that used his platform, brought Dr. Claude Anderson on to uplift and wake up our people. Every other mega church pastor, they don't even want to deal with Dr. Claude Anderson at all. So my question to y'all is this. Now, I'll let Brother Roy go, and then David, and then Bad Boy. You can go. Just mute your mic, my brother.
Got you.
All right. My question to y'all is this, and I want all y'all to answer from y'all perspective and what y'all seen. Will we consider the black church today? Will we consider it a bastardized version of politics and the corporate America, what I like to call the corporate plantation? Will we consider it that? Do y'all think it's that? Go ahead, my brother Roy.
Before I answer that question, brother, I want to tell Bad Boy, I'm glad you made it out safe, brother, and back in the fight. And I also wanted to tell Brother Compromise, no, that's the right word. Financial literacy is the exact word you should be using, because all of these preachers, that's exactly what they're doing. They're financially literate to know how to make their money work for them, but they don't tell their congregation how to do it. They say, wait on the Lord and some money gonna come, and somehow or another, God gonna just increase your wealth. But they ain't telling you how to do that. They ain't telling you how to save. They ain't telling you how to sacrifice. They ain't telling you how to hold off from this to get this. They ain't telling you how to start a business, because that's what they are. They are religious business.
Wait, hold on. Don't even lose it, because that's what I was trying to get to. Look at politics. The politicians, they don't send their kids to war. They send our kids to war. The politicians, they eat, drink, sleep, but they do everything for free. And they get lobbyists to pay for everything. We don't have that. So that's what I meant by that. And I don't want you to lose your train of thought. And that's what I was meaning. Do you feel like the black Christianity, black churches in general, is it like politics? Because in politics, remember, y'all, how many of us have went to school and they've really pushed us as black kids to be in politics? No, it's always some white kid or even a Latino now. But it's never really black people in politics, because there's financial freedom behind politicians too. So go ahead and speak to that too, my brother Roy.
Well, as far as is the church bastardized? That's a nice word. I prefer to call them hoes, because that's what they are. I'm gonna get your ass out there, make my money, and bring it back here. As a matter of fact, go get me some more, because I need some more on the streets to get my money. And unfortunately, I'm not really that articulate, so I'm just straight to the bone, no cut, no chaser. This is just how I give it. That's how I see it. They gatekeepers. They blocking folks. If you try to get out, they're going to minimize you. Oh, you don't want to deal with him. He a problem. She a problem. If you ain't working with us, but we suffering. Oh, the Lord will do it for you, though. Well, how the Lord going to do it for me? Well, if you pray, he going to answer your prayer. Well, it's widows losing their homes. Where the Lord at? Where the church at? Nowhere to be found. Let's pray for sister so-and-so. The Lord work in mysterious ways. But you still ain't built whatever the hell you was going to build for the church fund. But you still asking for a donor money for the church fund. Man, the hell what you talking about? Most of the people that go to these mega churches don't even live in the city that the mega church is in. Think about that for a minute. You don't even live in the city that the church is in. You drive there, you worship, you get in your car, and all the destitute and the homeless people, you drive right by to go back to your suburban walled-in homes. So just stop the bullshit. Say, yeah, the land was cheap, we bought it, we get a tax write-off, and that's that. And we can accept that. But we won't be dealing with you. And they know that. So they just playing us like hoes, man. Well, them like hoes. Because I'm not going to keep giving you my money and I'm not getting nothing out of it. Even with insurance, you might not need it, but you know it's there when you do need it. With the church, ain't no guarantees. We can't promise you nothing, but I'm going to need some money to put this high-ass diesel in my jet while y'all sitting here struggling. Oh, I'm going to need a whole lot of money for my new Bentley. So you can come and look at it. Don't get too close, though. Bunch of bullshit, man. And until people say, y'all bullshitting me, and we tired of y'all getting bullshitted and run up on these pastors, like you run up on some of these brothers in the street and strip them down, buck naked, they gonna learn then. I rest my plane, man.
Ooh, Brother David, same thing to you. You think that the black church is a bastardized version of politics and the corporate plantation? Because remember, the politics and corporate plantation, they already have money and influence and financial literacy. And when I mean it, I'm keeping it in context, y'all. Any corporate plantation you've ever worked at, the vice president, the COOs, the CEOs, all those people at the top, they have what's called financial literacy, as Brother David was talking about. And I agree with Roy, Brother Roy. David is right. Use that term. But those people at the top of those corporate plantations, because you talking to a nigga that's been there, and I know they don't give you the information to obtain financial literacy. So that's what I mean by, is the black church a bastardized version of the corporate plantation and politics? Go ahead, my brother David.
Yeah, the church, the church now, definitely it is. We haven't used the church for our benefit, and that's the big problem, man. And if we're not using it to benefit us as a whole, then we can never use that as a tool for our true liberation, because it's all about our liberation as a black people as a whole. You see, when you had someone like Bishop Henry Turner in the 1800s, right? You had someone like Booker T. Washington. You had people like Marcus Garvey. These people used the church for its proper usages during that time. So you can use the church for your benefit, depending on what time period you're living in. A lot of people, they go at, you know what I'm saying, Booker T. Washington real hard, and they say he was a sellout, all of this stuff, but that's far from the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because the church then, he used it. He was funding these churches to do what? He was funding them to provide protection. Like, the role of the church before played a big role in our liberation, or at least our stride for liberation, that it don't play now. It served as protection. It was an educational, it served as educational environments, and it was a social environment for us to meet at. We don't use that for that purpose nowadays. Even so, we don't hold the leaders, and the leaders, we don't hold their feet to the fire, because a lot of the times these pastors and ministers, they're puppets. They just hand picked. We got to find out, who is it that they answer to? Who are they having a meeting with? That's that's the issue we had to address. Once we find that out, now we understand what our church really is about, and you can decide either you want to stay there or not, you want to bounce or not. But again, we've been put in a stage of hypnosis, you know what I'm saying, because of the fact that we are told that if you want any type of political gain, you got to use the church. This is why these politicians, when they want the black vote, first place they go to is the church. They want to know who is in control of all of these black people. How can I get into that church and persuade these folks to put me in place so I can have some political power that I can transfer and transmit to my family, not to the black folks, but to my family. You see what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. If we take a page out of Bishop Turner, that's who I mentioned earlier, we take a page out of his book. He tried to go the route of politics. This was a black nationalist. He tried to go the route of politics. He was born in slavery. He was born in a system of white supremacy surrounding him all around. He was born well, he wasn't a slave, but he was born around in the slavery period, right? So this man hated what white people did to his people so much that he would put a flag in the middle of the church before he preached, and he would go off on how this flag is a contradiction and how it's nothing but a rag. It don't mean nothing. The colors, he break the colors down, and he talk about the Civil War and all that because he lived through it. And he hated the American flag so much. And then this man tried to actually go the route of politics, and because he couldn't go the route of politics, they voted him out. And he just said, you know what? I'm just going to immigrate out of the country. And so before Marcus Garvey tried that whole back to Africa thing, Bishop Turner did it first. You know what I'm saying? So we don't go the same route as a Bishop Turner, as to say, yo, you know what, this didn't work for me, then I'm going a radical route. Like, I'm going all the way, and I'm doing it for the people. It's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, this dude was born a so-called free slave. You know what I'm saying? But he was born in a slavery time, so he had nothing to really lose. I mean, nothing to really gain, in all honesty. Nothing to gain. His family was wealthy and everything. He could have just went about his business, but he gave all of that up for the struggle with his people. We don't do that. T.D. Jakes and them don't do that. Joel Osteen definitely not going to do that. Tyler Perry, he's dressed up in a skirt and a dress on numerous times to entertain black, white, Spanish, Asian, entertain anybody to make the money and demonize black men. You know what I'm saying? So these people don't have any shame, and they're not going to go that route. I think we need to go the radical route and do the same thing like what we spoke about with doing with hip hop, which is take that back and say that belonged to us because we created religion. You know what I'm saying? And even right now, we are the ones that's keeping it flowing, in all honesty. There's more blacks that go to church than any other race group in America. You know what I'm saying? So we're keeping the churches going. We're keeping the churches rich, or we're keeping people inherently with money in their pockets. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have to begin to take back what is ours and say this belongs to us. The first church that was started by black people here in America was radicals, people who was black nationalists. They were B1 people. They were B1 mindset, had a mindset of a B1, a hashtag B1, black first. This is what it was, and we haven't done that. So I think if we want to, we have to take that back and say this belongs to us. We're not saying other groups can't play a part, but we're saying this belongs to us, and you got to go by our guidelines. And I think also it is a political game, simply because they won't tell the truth. The biggest thing in politics is not to deliver the truth. You give them a little ounce of hope so that you can take the hope away from them. You give them hope so that you can later on take the hope away from them. Doesn't that sound familiar? Does that not sound like what the white supremacists do? Create the problem, step back, watch people destroy each other, watch that civilization be destroyed, and then come back in and play the helper as if they the heroes. It's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, yes, if you give people the truth and you start telling them and saying, yo, this is what this story in the Bible was talking about. So when the Bible says that, Satan came, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy, we got to take a look at what group of people on this earth right now is stealing, killing, and destroying the planet. What group of people is doing it? Every race plays some part, but what group has set out to actually do that as a whole? You see what I'm saying? What group has created their own religion called white supremacy? That's not black folks that created it. It's not Asians that created it. You feel me? They created their own religion, and they flourish under the Christianity belt. They disguise themselves under that. They use the politics. Politics is about who gets what, where, why, when, and how. That's all politics mean. Who gets what, where, why, when, and how. When we take a look at it, black people don't own and control what we deal with on a daily basis and online activities of life. We don't control those areas. Like I said, I'm not saying we don't play a part in our destruction, but what I'm saying is that we haven't started the destruction. We didn't start our own destruction. So what we have to take a close look at is, why is the violence happening in our neighborhoods? How did it get there? Why are we consistently the bottom class when it comes to entertainment? Why are we the laughing stock? Why are we the most disrespected? Why is the black female the most disrespected, as Brother Malcolm X said, right? We have to take a look at, as Brother, I can't remember the brother name, but Bad Boy said, with the brothers being locked up in prison, why is such situations like that happening, right? He's not the only one. That goes back to convict leasing, where black men were just being taken off the streets for and charged with crimes that they didn't even commit. I was one of them. You feel me? So my thing is we got to begin to look at this from all aspects. But they use this as a war tactic. Religion, the black church, is a tool used against us. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'll have to admit, you do have some black churches, some black nationalist churches. I know one here in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They created their church based off the UNIA. You know what I'm saying? From Marcus Garvey. So there you do have some churches who are just black nationalists, but they're not the majority. They out there feeding the poor. They're out there giving back to the community by just sharing information about how you can build up your get your LLC, and how you can obtain business credit and things like that. You have some churches who are doing that, but they're not the majority. They may just be that one in the whole county. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we have to begin to take this by the grips, like what we spoke about the other day, taking hip hop, taking anything that we create. We need to take it back by the horns and say, this is ours, put stipulations on it. When it comes to anybody else, even if you are within our race group, if you're not going to abide and go by our standards, you can't rock with it. And if you ain't feeling it, go start your own. But over here, we're collective as one, and this is how we're going to operate. So yes, my brother, it is. It is another game. It is another politic type of game.
I'm glad you segued into it, because we got Brother Roy and we got our other brother Bad Boy in here. Me and Brother David, we spoke. Me and David, we spoke yesterday in the spaces about hip hop. And I feel like, that's our creation. That's our baby. Whether it was in the East or in the West, it's still our baby. I felt like we've maintained it. I'm talking about the integrity of hip hop. We've maintained it. I'm not talking about what the record labels did and everything. I'm talking about us on the ground. We've made our stars relevant. I agree with David on that. I think we need to start taking our religious belief systems back and incorporating new values, new systems and values, meaning like financial literacy, knowing you were black, knowing you're going to have to deal with racism, white supremacy, because they don't teach that in the black church. They will teach everything but white supremacy. So with that being said, my question to you is, why is it we always wait so bad? We wait so long and until it gets so bad. As an example, you have Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes basically doing an ethnocide, trying to erase black folk, foundational black Americans, Native blacks, freedmen blacks, as if we had nothing to do with it. And they want to split it 50-50 when they called it jungle bunny music. So do y'all think we need to take back our black religions and our black Christianity churches, and we need to start, as Brother Roy said, holding them accountable? Meaning this, because I grew up in church. I mean this. I'm not tripping on people who want to pay tithes and love their pastor and all that. That's not my issue. My issue is what Brother Roy said, Brother Bad Boy, David from No Compromise. That I share the same issue. We need to start holding these black preachers accountable. And what I mean by this is, I'm not talking about holding them accountable in the way I think most people think. I mean, hold them accountable in the way of, hey man, you're not teaching the black man is God. You're not teaching financial literacy. You're not teaching recycling black dollars, as David said. Until you teach that, my family, my 10 brothers and sisters and all their nieces and nephews, we going somewhere else. We love you, Pastor, but my kids don't need to hear this. They need to hear things that are going to help them survive in the United States of America Incorporated, which is the system of racism, white supremacy. So do y'all think we need to start not only holding them accountable, but using our black dollar and going somewhere else and go to a whole other church if we had to, just to prove a point, so we can galvanize a movement that, hey, y'all black churches, y'all are becoming to be worse than or equal to the liquor stores that are being ran by the Asians and everybody else who's selling us liquor and selling us all these things. Y'all know better if y'all sitting up there rocking us to sleep. Do y'all think that's what we need to do to maybe wake these black preachers up to be like, ooh, I got to change my game? Brother Roy, you go first.
Oh man, I'm glad you hit on that, brother, because well, the Constitution say we the people. The church say the people are the church. So we have to. One man don't stop no show, and one man ain't the whole revolution. We have to get to the people. And I was just having a conversation about this guy Vlad with one of the sisters, and she said, well, he's a culture vulture. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Is he a culture vulture? Or are we allowing and enabling him to be a culture vulture? Because subscriptions is money as far as the net goes with YouTube. That's money. So every time we get on there and subscribe, we paying him. So are we enabling him for our own demise? Because if we stop listening to him, he ain't got no money. So who's the culture vulture? Who's allowing this to happen? It's us. We have to stand up and say, you know what? Enough is enough. And as far as the Busta Rhymes thing goes, a lot of people don't know. Busta Rhymes was named after a football player who played for the Vikings. Busta Rhymes was not his original rap name. He got his name changed by another black man, Chuck D of Fight the Power. So we need the knowledge. See, they just sprouting shit. You can sprout shit all day. But if I don't have nothing to come back and say, you wrong, buddy. First of all, you was born in 1980, so you wouldn't know a damn thing about how the beginning of hip hop started. You came in during the middle. Let me go talk to somebody who actually was there. And they've got a documentary out. It's on Netflix. It's called Hip Hop Evolution. That's the best documentary I've seen so far, where they're talking to the original people that they're talking about. Because at first, Busta Rhymes was saying it was Jamaican. Jamaicans made it. So they went to the guy he was talking about. His name was Kool G Herc, I believe. And Kool G Herc said, no, I was in America. I heard the music they were using, and I took that music to Jamaica. So in Jamaica, they got the ability to hear James Brown. So Jamaicans can say, you brought hip hop to us, but you didn't create it because you got it from somewhere else. And I respect that because that's exactly what you did. I heard it here. I brought it here to my people who never heard it. And then they were like, that's cool. But I'm going to stand on, no, I didn't make this. I just brought it to you. And that's the same way with religion. People act like, even if you, regardless if you believe it or you don't, the book is there and people believe it. So perception begins to say, oh, okay, this must be true. Now, Jesus had 12 disciples, and all of them was not the same. Some of them was calm, mannered. Some of them was very articulate, and some of them was just downright gutter. Peter cut off a soldier's ear in front of Jesus. So until we start saying that, because these preachers is acting like, oh, all of Jesus' disciples was just so humble and nice. No, they was not. They was writers willing to die. That's what it was. And that's what it is. And it's the same thing with hip hop. But if we don't instill in our offsprings, this is what was going on at this time, because there's nothing new under the sun. And it happened with rock and roll. It happened with bebop. They did the same thing with rock and roll with Chuck Berry. They banned him, told him don't do this. Oh, we're going to put him in jail. It's nothing new under the sun. These demons play with the same damn playbook. I really don't get it why we haven't freed ourselves by now, because it's the same playbook played over and over. But what they do is they make sure at least 5 to 10 generations don't know. That's why we're still having people in the hip hop, these youngsters coming in hip hop, coming in here with these crappy ass contracts and going broke. This shit is ridiculous. They don't know about owning their own masters. The Bible, the church don't tell people about how to get out of debt. That stuff ain't hard to do. But if you go look for it on your own, you got to pay hundreds of thousands of goddamn dollars. And then you still might not get the help you need. But it's the same damn game. And I keep telling people, well, Michael Jackson gave Little Richard his masters back. 40, 50 years later, Anita Baker just won to get her masters back. They kept her masters for 30 years after she did her song. This shit is ridiculous. This don't make no damn sense. Where's the people that came before to say, hey, you know what? Look, check this out. I might not even listen to your kind of music, but you need to watch out for this, and this. Now, if you take this information and work with it, you'll be all right. If you don't work with it, that's your choice. So later you can't come back crying. Because a lot of times the average listener don't know what's going on in the industry. We only know hearsay or whatever that go on later on. It's the people that's in there that knows. They know because they're there. And once again, like the brother said, financial literacy. Suge Knight wasn't no great knower of music. He just knew the right people. Same thing with Puffy and everybody else. They was already in the industry. But Biggie didn't know the rules in the game. He had to get in to know. But these white folks, they had their kids when they knee high, looking at the game, studying the game. That's why they always in the back of the game. They ain't trying to be on stage. I want to be where the money at. I want to be the promoter. I want to be who dealing with the money. And that's where they always go. I don't want to be the entertainer. I want to be the manager. I want to be the dealership. I want to be distribution. And that goes with everything, including sports. 90%, 70% of sports, black people are athletes. How many of those are behind the scenes? And I ain't talking about management. I'm talking about the motherfuckers that run the camera. That job make over $100,000 a year. Are you fucking kidding me? Where is that? And that goes across the board. They keep us out of those things on purpose, intentionally. The same way with the school to prison pipeline. First, we gonna take out the band. Then we gonna take out graphic arts. Then we gonna take everything out except sports. Everything else, if you can't run, jump, or throw a goddamn ball, we don't need you. Because the first rule for white supremacy is no competition is the best competition. And I land my plane, brother.
Woo! I agree with everything. Brother Bad Boy, give us some insight on what you think about the, hey, bro, y'all speaking facts. I love it. What you think about it, Brother Bad Boy? Go ahead and drop some knowledge on us.
Well, you know what I was actually thinking, my brother. I was listening to this brother Roy, and initially I started listening to you, and then I'm looking at my brother No Calm here, and I definitely love to hear from more. But here's our problem with our people, man. I'm gonna try to put this in a capsule, right, so we can swallow it better. And bro, it was a good landing on that plane, Roy, right? So this is what it really is. If I can leave this small planet we on, man, since I was 18 years old and come back at 52 and see people in the same place. right, then I already know something's wrong. So I'm gonna try to go backtrack a lot of things Roy said, because not only is Roy on point, but in the end of what I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna ask something of Roy for being on point, right? In that time that I was gone, what do you think a brother would dream about? He would dream about the world, because I couldn't get to the world. I'm 23 hours a day locked in a cell every single day. You know what I mean? So my dreams are like, yo, they living out there. This is happening. You know what I mean? Oh, are they talking about black unity? You know what I mean? We back to this. Oh, this is just prior to all this Black Lives Matter thing, right? And then you come home and you see it and go, damn, the most simplest lessons they forgot. They doing thesis and studies. I speak at colleges all over, man. I've been everywhere. I actually was privileged, man, not only to speak at the verdict for George Floyd down there, but I also led out the casket for Dante Wright. You know what I mean? So I fly there, man, and just try to bring what I'm bringing from having lived this. But the more I looked at it, I was like, yo, we in a spiritual bankruptcy. Yeah, we got things, but we leave things behind, but we spiritually bankrupt. We don't got too much to offer each other because the hope been beat so bad. We can't even talk to each other without putting the national anthem in front of the shit. Excuse my language. You know what I mean? We don't have a Malcolm X make it plain mentality. We have a let me serve it to you until I can look in your eyes and see you might not dig or like what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? We play with it differently. But it's sad because the more you put it together and you look at what Roy's saying, and I don't want to regurgitate, all of it, but I want you to really listen to what he said, and you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. The situation we in with our children doesn't have anything to do with us. We never had a kids problem. We got an adult problem. I just finished living with everybody's kids. You know what I mean? I just spent my whole life watching their kids come in. Having went in as a kid. We're not going to get anywhere until we stop doing that and start saying, what are the avenues we have? So we talked about disciples. I'm 100% with Roy on the idea of how love works. One of the things we did a detriment to our kids with our religion is we tried to convince them that love don't fight back. It just prays. You dig what I'm saying? But even God
Wait, wait,
tells
wait.
you
Hold
you got.
on. Hold on, my brother. You got to say that again. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I need you to kind of rewind that because you just dropped something real heavy and people need to hear that. So go ahead and say that again about love and what we weren't taught.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, why I'm saying it exactly, because, you know, when we were kids, I suspect most of us, like just like everybody not wanting to admit they got somebody in their family that's caught up in a justice system, you know what I mean? Criminal justice system at that, right? But if, this idea, when our parents told us, you just be good, go to school, and you'll be somebody. Wasn't that kind of like the thing we learned? You know what I mean? Go to school, be good, you know what I mean? So you can be somebody. Man, I love nobody in this world more than my grandmother. I lost her when I was in prison. That's my heart, man. We coming from Chicago, and you know, she brought us, away from that whole thing. My whole family's still there, but she got us out of it. And my love for her is infinite. I say that because even when I had to look back, she was a Jehovah's Witness, you know what I mean? But even when I had to look back at all of it, my own upbringing and everything, I was going, damn, I wish my family so much knew to tell me to never let anybody tell me what system I need to be somebody. I was born somebody. We start there. We let our kids know you got the name because you're already existing as somebody. Now, what you make it as somebody is what we're going to work on, but you're not going to turn into somebody. You're born somebody. We don't let them know that. I didn't know that. And then once I kind of caught on to that, I realized, like, what are they talking about? From the Torah on down to the Bible, man, to papers. People out here probably, I've been to speak, like I said, I spoke at a lot of college. They don't even remember to dig up. I'm a journalist, man, of suffering, put it that way. And the more I'm trying to get across to people, what do you think? I'm not in here praying? You think the God that I'm going to have, I got a special God. He's going to be so cruel to me that not only am I going to be in this prison for something I didn't do, but then he's gonna double it. You understand what I'm saying? Nah, he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna do this. This don't have nothing to do with God. This is a philosophy you taught me that love says just stay in your place. That's the slave version of Christianity. That's why we hear it and we don't like it. And our people move to different things of Protestant because we've turned that into the slave thing. It is no difference than the Republican Party. See, love takes back something. Love is a defense. It don't play offense when it's on defense because Jesus loved us as everyone, puts out to us. If Jesus loved us and he was willing to die for us, that means he was marching towards something, right? He was marching towards something. He was like, I'm going to death and that's how this going to go down for my people. No different than some gang member, but a different, of course, momentum. But the idea is no different than that. You dig what I'm saying? And we're not accepting the fact that yeah, we pray, but we get off our knees and do something. If I didn't learn the law, if I didn't get on top of this case and stay in the law library rather in the gym, you know what I mean? I won a United Nations awards in that prison. I won a bunch of awards. I created programs for the prison. Six still there. I did what I was supposed to do, whatever the calling was. The suffrage was to make me better for the fight. It did not promise me no more suffering out here. I'd be suffering now just to be out here with the people I'm among. It did not it did not cause me not to look that I would come home after 32 years of being in a prison innocently. It did not hit me to come home and say, yo, I'm gonna go to their prison now. So one thing I know is how prison work, and I'm saying the love you got, it's got to have arms too and feet. You feel what I'm saying? Your love's gonna have to have arms and feet for your people. Whatever God you choose, we better be mindful. Like he said with Peter, Moses was a murderer before he got down with God's movement. You dig what I'm saying? He's calling in a military. In the end, you see Jesus coming back with a sword. He don't say I'm coming back, man, with another Bible and some more Torahs and some more commandments. So I'm coming back with a sword and I'm coming back with this many even give you a number like, the 100 and such dollars. That's all that's coming back with me. Coming back from war, not to be chatting. And then the best place we talked about the church, but the best place, what would be the best place, man? When you're forced to be around devils, you know what I mean? I was innocent, there's other innocent brothers and sisters and everywhere in prison, but then there's some devils. You feel what I'm saying? That's the bottom line, man. Child molesters, all kind of dudes that really did it, don't care that they did it. I lived with them, I know, right? It don't it's not for us. Let me put it this way. It's not for us to sit back. I'm cutting myself because I want to make this point. It's not for us to sit back and talk about what we're going to do. It's kind of like looking at this board right here and go, yo, Roy got a Jew to offer. The sister Tina might have a Jew to offer. No calm. You know what I mean? FBA got a Jew to offer. All right, we got a Jew chest here. No different than these rappers. We start jeweling up and we come out on them because all they understand is floss. So we floss intelligent. But we're not clicking up. We meeting up and we talking and doing things like this, and then we'll come back. But we don't. So right now, let's just say how many of these what do you call them? Excuse me, work with me here, y'all. The thing we doing right now, bro. I'm coming out of prison, so I'm just getting hip to this. People put me
Oh,
on, but
Twitter,
the
Twitter
Twitter,
Spaces.
the spaces, right? We're doing the spaces. All right, so just say the people that's on here now. Say we had to click off because all of us just heard on the news. We would click off because we would check on our people. We wouldn't know. Say we clicked off of here right now and we just heard one part of this country somebody dropped a bomb and that's coming from Russia, and then on the other side the militias and all this shit going on is down with them and they just trying to take over this here and Russia's coming here and Trump and them got a deal. Let's just hypothetically put it where it actually could be, right? Let's say we heard all that. We would all just click off of here and then black folks would have no meeting place. You see, when these whites put these things together like the Capitol, we wasn't watching them on social media like meet me down the street, turn left, I'm gonna be down here by the Capitol. It really in most of our lives, we popped up, we heard them saying, yep, there's something, and next thing we know, they there. And they doing exactly what they saying they doing. We don't have an underground railroad of us. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need an underground railroad of us, man, a restaurant of us where we bring each one of our talents and each one of us can eat from it. You see what I'm saying? That's the restaurant of us. We need that. You're gonna need it to survive this. I needed it for myself to survive in there, but I knew what God told me in there. I knew what Allah told me in there, and I know what the progress is out here. Yo, you ain't down with me if you ain't fighting. I'm God. I've been fighting all my life with the entity that y'all got to deal with. I'm God. I'm still fighting the devil. I'm letting y'all handle him. That's why it says in that Bible, there's a way that seems right to man, but it leads to death. Yeah, of course we'd have pastors and people like that doing what they do to us. Why wouldn't they? We open the door to be able to say, let me take homage in your place of foolishness when I know better. We know better and do it. We know better than killing each other. We know better. Don't think every dude, man, that interviewed the best in it. We know better. So if we know better, you know that whole saying, why ain't we doing, but we ain't doing better because we won't unite. So my point was, if we clicked off of here right now, none of us would know how to have an underground railroad and the way we should meet. Even the slaves were able to pull that off. And I'm going to end on these 2 points. This was what I said back to you, Roy. Listen, it's a simple math of what they did to us. But we know when Harriet Tubman came through those woods going back and forth, a woman going back and forth, man, when she did that going back and forth, they wasn't talking in those woods. We act like it's so hard. They had babies on their hips, babies that would cry, and the slave master gonna hear them. They had real problems, and they pulled it off back and forth. And they had other slaves in the woods drumming, where the master just thought, hey, that's the niggas making that little nighttime drumming shit again. They was telling them which way to go. Collectively, even when we meet up, we need to stay up. We can't just keep meeting up. We got to be like, yo, who is you? Who is you? Who is you? This is what I'm on. This is what I'm on. And how do we use all of our platforms to work? That brings me right to Roy. One, Roy, man, I'd invite you to our show, Bump That Radio. We got lots of listeners, man, across the country. So, you know what I mean? You're welcome, man, to come on the show anytime, man, and rap and talk. And I see Pop, but, you know, he maybe get it. You're welcome to come on because this is what we should be doing. I'm willing to open up my platform and say, hey, let's not just keep it here. In fact, if my station and you guys and whoever we know and we want to get together, if we all want to get together, then hey, we'll do a space together. We'll sponsor it by that side and this side, and we'll just keep making a space and we'll just keep telling the truth. You can't get around the truth. What they gonna tell us? A bunch of sufferers about suffering. We already know about suffering. You ain't gonna tell me shit about suffering, so there ain't nothing for us to talk about. Ain't none of these fake rappers or no other half-ass killer on the record gonna tell me nothing when I was there with his brother, his gang leader, and everybody else, and made it out of that. I don't want to hear nothing about what you might do and who's the hardest out here. The hardest thing you can do, and that I found in this whole entire world, is age. That's just hard. See if you can make it to 90. There goes some work for you. You feel what I'm saying? So for Roy, it was real simple, bro. We only had to follow the format that was there. What did they do with us? Right? And I got to get ready to go too, man, FBA, but you know, I want to holler at you. We got to holler. But what did they do? We keep forgetting the Willie Lynch papers, man. The Willie Lynch papers told them this is how we're gonna do it to them. This is what we're gonna lay down. And it ain't never stopped, my brother Roy. It's still the Willie Lynch papers. It's still the same game. So we can't play it like it's not. It ain't checkers for us to be jumping around. They really trying to knock our crown off, and then we on the other side. That's why that board set up black and white. If it came down to that, then learn how to play this game, because that's all it is now. And we well equipped to play it right because we're on the side of right. Respect. And Roy, if you didn't hear me, I said I wanted to invite you over to my show as well. And FBA, we want to definitely, man. I'm gonna do one of these spaces with you, man. We'll collab, talk to the station, and we'll collab. We'll do a bigger space, and we'll just keep growing it. Whoever else, and if we're gonna take this stance, then we take that stance. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, I got actually legendary Craig G on the show about 1:15 on Bump. And when he come on, that's what we're talking about. You know, I've been with Nipsey and all of them, man. So if you really saw my format, I came right home to it. And I kind of was in that industry. I know about it. We can flip it. The mind state says we can win it. And we should. Respect. Peace.
Much
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I think that would be a great thing to have Brother Roy on there, David on there. Just let me know, man. I dropped that ball because I don't know why I was thinking that you was on Pacific Standard Time, and when you hit me up, I hit you up
Oh, no,
like
I
three
get you.
hours later. Yeah, that one was on me. But
Yeah.
man, I will definitely be getting with you, man, because like David, no, I like to be behind the scenes. I don't need to be all in the scenes, man. I like to ask the questions. I don't like. I love talk radio and stuff like that, but I definitely don't do stuff for the clout. David knows that as well, and Roy by now knows that this is like his third or fourth space with us. So, man, I'm definitely. I think that definitely could be something that I'm with it. I want it to grow, but I'm telling all y'all right now, I want it to grow together. I've always been that way. There's no I in team. And I'm not on here cloud chasing. I don't like to use other people's platforms for my game. I want to be on other people's platform to learn, and because every day is a school day. So man, nah, I'm definitely with that man, and we need to
Bro, there,
we need to get together, my brother, for real.
nah, definitely. Listen, man. From that first time we communicated, and I'm saying, okay, I speak to a lot of the hood, if you want to call it that, different places, man, because this so-called OG status. But then I look at what I came out here to, man. I'm looking at the whack 100s and all this stuff, and I'm going, oh shit, all these dudes I've done time with and been in longer than, and then it came home and they lost sight of like, yo, what happened to the code? You know what I mean? Even among thieves, it's an opposite in there. There's a code. That's the only way it runs. And I'm going, now we're gonna beef online, we're gonna expose ourselves, and then you're gonna sit there and identify all of the white people in this industry that is number one on YouTube. So you got to go on their show to interview. That's how I look at them. You mean you got to go on their show to feel validated? You couldn't just come on, say if FBA was doing one, you couldn't just come on that and do the same interview, even if he paid. You couldn't come on it. You don't feel esteemed unless you went on Vlad TV or one of the white people's platform. Then you feel like I made it. Somebody really talked to me. And that person ain't doing nothing but exposing you, pulling out like, yeah, so how you really do that, Boozy? How you really do that? They really just infiltrating and saying what's black life like, and then they letting you explain it, and that's not even what you do.
I'm sorry, brother. I missed your whole talk. I don't know what the hell happened. They just cut
No,
me off.
yeah, don't worry about it, brother Roy.
I
He
basically
basically,
respect what you're doing, bro, and I
yeah.
basically offered you an opportunity to come on my show and speak, man, as well. You know what I mean, on my talk show and on the radio station, man, because there was a lot you said that mattered. And one of the main things, I'll just leave it at this. I think that was the most of the point. We were talking about how it's done and how long they've been doing it. And I'm saying it's the plan has been written. It was the Willie Lynch papers that already set the course on how they was gonna do it. It never changed. That's the main theme of what I'm saying. It never changed from those
Oh,
Willie
okay.
Lynch papers.
Oh, okay, for sure, brother, for sure. No problem. I don't have no problem with that. Because the people need to know, man. Now, if you fall asleep or you don't care after you told, then it's on you. But my job is just to tell you. And I ain't, like I said, I ain't trying to be big, no big speaker or nothing like that. I just really like to listen. But every time we have some small room, I start talking. But other than that, man, I'll be listening.
So be God's will. Hey, listen, you guys, I got to take this conference call, but you know how to get me, FBA, anybody else, man. But Roy, I'd like to, man, really, really vibe with you because I'm coming from one experience, man, and all of our experiences is the only way we're gonna make any dent in the damage that where we at right now. We too distant. I lived with
Yes,
everybody's children. That's what people don't understand. You'll never have the experience I have. Not just the experience of being able to say I was in jail and what they're doing to me and how jails work and suffering. The idea of living with everybody's family. See, there's nowhere in the world that you would be living with white families right next door to you, maybe in the cell with you Asians. I lived with everybody that lived with a family. You know what I mean? So I got to understand all of them. And what I came to was, oh shit, it's a bitter pill. And the bitter pill is it's not just all economical, it's actually internal hate for the idea of how everybody's been treated. What does that mean when I say that real quick? That means everybody that we saw, bro. I'll give you an example. You were talking earlier about the cool hurt things, the Haitians, Jamaicans, let's just say. It could have been Latinos, it could have been Haitians. Our people didn't treat the Haitian brother that first came over here to America any better than anybody else. I was at school. Let's keep it real. See, until we keep it real, we'd say the same shit to a Puerto Rican dude. You know, like, yo, look at his socks. Check out how they living. We picked up those behaviors because we only had us as an example as better than we were trying to just being able to say, hey, we exist over here. And they felt less. Then they start coming up and forming their gangs and groups and music and everything else and said, shit, man, we got ours too. We're going to outshine. And now it became competition rather than any type of camaraderie. Camaraderie is gone. It's not a word you see. So it's a word we got to get together and explain to our kids that camaraderie does exist, that there is a group of us that's saying, yo, we down. And one of those things we did actually over here on my team, I create this thing called the passport click. So you should check it out. And the reason I did that was saying, and we'll actually have one of these spaces. That's why I said we should team, because I don't care who leads it. My point is, we did that because the passport is saying, okay, these kids are out here saying, these rappers are online saying, hey, you better check in. If you come from LA to Atlanta, check in. Now they got beef with that. They're doing this shit. I mean, you can't believe it, but they're doing it. And I'm saying, nah, what we need is our passport to each other. My passport means just like I can go to another country. If it was bad up here and the races that took over here, I got a passport to my man Roy. I got a passport to No Calm. He got a passport to me, because this passport represents that we saying we in communication as black people. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to
Yes,
build.
sir. Yes, sir. And you know what? I agree with you on that. Most definitely. Because but I'm gonna talk. If we get time, I'll talk to you about that off air. Because the Muslims did something similar to that, and I agree with it. If you come into a city, you got to pay homage and you got to pay taxes. That's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. We see, our idea is, until our
Well,
children
sit
see,
down.
we tax ourselves. We're the only people that tax ourselves with our own people, because in the end, nobody's paying attention when we see these kids getting locked up, all these murders and everything else that's going on, and the rappers going to jail, the
Right.
psycho coming back. We're
Well,
losing sight of
you
what's
know
really
what, brother?
happening.
They do tax. They do tax.
You know what I mean? And what's really happening is a
They do.
transference of us,
We just don't
meaning
see it.
we're getting this from the message. Right? They tax us. They tax you with
You're
your
right.
own child. That's taxing. No,
Yeah, they tax each
when
other.
you're
We just don't.
right. You see what I'm saying? We the most taxed people ever,
Yeah,
ever. And it's gonna
yeah.
stay that way. It's gonna stay that way. We have, my brother FBA got the
Hey, I'm breaking up again, brother. I'm breaking up.
hey man, all right, well, I'm gonna give you guys this floor. Whether it's Huey or Malcolm, we got one thing, man. We can't never go meet any of them, or meet Allah, or meet God, or at all, and look at them and say, "Oh, damn! I didn't know it was about all we had to do was speak up." Our fears make us not speak up. We can't keep going back to Martin Luther King. When I come home, man, it was one of the speeches, man, they asked me to come to, and it was like, what is it? Martin Luther King Day. And I seen the whole curriculum. I didn't even take the money or anything else to go speak at it, because I said, if I could be gone this long and Martin Luther King could be gone this long, and the bottom line is, and we still talking about Martin Luther King had a dream. That shit is not no dream. That You're no longer in a dream. If that shit been going on that long, you're in a lifetime coma.
Yes, sir.
A
Yes,
dream
sir.
you wake up from. You go to sleep, wake up from the dream, like I had a nice dream or a bad dream. That's a
Yes,
coma.
sir.
I ain't
Yes,
living
sir.
in that. I ain't gonna be in that hospital with them, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So we
yes,
have the opportunity, man, to be the voices of everybody we say we feel for, and just be, and be together doing it. And that's that.
right. Right. I agree. Most definitely. Most definitely. But I'm gonna leave you with this, brother. Uh, Michael Jackson was a great performer. But what I respect about Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson started finding out how to buy masters, he bought that white boy's masters, Eminem, because
Ain't
Eminem
that
said
right?
something
Ain't that
about
right?
him on
Ain't that
the
right?
record.
The same way he went for them elephant bones, and he had Elton John stuff.
That's right.
You
So
know that.
when people say stuff, I tell them, y'all talk a lot about Michael Jackson, but here's some things you didn't know about real power, real economic movement. Now, if he had some badass brothers behind him, I don't think he'd be gone today. But I know you
Right,
got
right.
I know you got something to do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
we
why I
got to
keep
get on
breaking up.
this Zoom, brother. But
Yes, sir.
respect, man, and I appreciate you all having me, man. You know, I extend my arms because they were always pushed up against me. They out, man. So respectfully, to whoever's reaching, I'm there too. I'm in this fight, no matter what. My time
Much love,
don't
brother. Much.
stop.
All right, we appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Uh, yeah, man. The Michael Jackson thing, a lot of people don't know about it. He did that. It has been said. Me and David had talked about that too. That when Eminem did that video, making fun of Michael Jackson, he just bought his masters.
That's right.
And then he
Right.
just, oh, you want to be funny? Okay, no problem. I'll just buy them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Because Michael Jackson was one who knew the system was wicked and knew it was not meant for us to succeed. So, and
And,
this is one thing that I don't like that people forget about Michael Jackson. He held a press conference in New York City. Me and David have talked about that, and he basically called out Tommy Mottola for being a
yeah.
racist.
Yeah.
And people he shut down Times Square to let people know that, and that's why I want to talk about this subject matter today, because I wanted to know why are we not holding these creatures accountable. And I think we did a good job today, but uh, David, man, give us some words of what we need to do moving forward to help Black folk wake up and start holding Black Christianity accountable.
I think, man, number one, we have to demand that the truth be spoken, man, without any compromise. That's just what it comes down to, man. Like if you go to a church and they not speaking the truth, you at that point you understand that you're gonna be in a system of just again hypnosis. You're just laying there while they're lying to you all day, and then they're gonna ignore a lot of the things that you go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you also, I think that you just have to have your own mind. You have to have your own mind to be willing to say, oh, you know what? If I'm not feeling what this church is doing or what this church is saying or that what their actions are, what the potential could be, if I'm not feeling it, I'm leaving. You got a lot of people who get caught up into these churches and they feel like they gotta stay there because the preacher, the pastor, minister, deacon, whoever then told them, um, make them feel in a way where if you leave, you basically leaving God if you leave that church. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been like the last church that I was in, right? I left the church straight up because I say, yo, how is it that I'm in here and Philando Castile got shot point blank in front of his daughter? The preachers and the pastors ain't talking about it. They ain't even saying, yo, let's pray for this family. Then I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, okay, you got Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, then George Floyd, and then the pandemic happened, and people getting shot in between. I'm saying, like, yo, how is the church that I was in? They're talking about how how they're going to address this because there are some people in the church that feel uncomfortable going out, either leading a protest or protesting. They feel uncomfortable just speaking out on this subject. I'm saying, like, yo, hold on. So you're telling me that Jesus was a revolutionary. That's what I read, right? If I'm reading that Jesus was a revolutionary, that means that he was up for change and he spoke up on things, right? If you read Jesus' words, then you would see, okay, this was a brother who was on something different. You know what I'm saying? So everything that church was talking about, Jesus was against. So the mistreatment of people that's in a lower position, you know what I'm saying, which would be Black people in today's time, socially we're in a lower position than everybody else. Jesus took up for people like that and spoke up for people like that. And here it is. I was in a church. They wasn't willing to speak up for people like that because they're so concerned of the members they're going to lose. Then at the same time, being concerned with the members they're going to lose, they got a white Jesus in every one of their slides. Every time they present something on, from preaching or whoever it is, sometimes there was white preachers, there was black preachers, there was Asian preachers, and there was Latino preachers. They all presented Jesus as the regular picture that we see, the white man, blue eyes, blonde hair, his disciples was white. And that's what we seen. But I'm like, but here it is. You're concerned about people leaving when it comes time to speak up for black folks. But when it comes time to present your mental slavery upon me and my children, it's no problem for you to display a white Jesus on the projector. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at these things and I'm saying they ain't speak up about no black person out here being killed. And I mean like this, we seeing this stuff on TV. It ain't like you can deny it and say I didn't see it. We're seeing it. As a matter of fact, we're all home because from the pandemic. You see what I'm saying? The pandemic had just began and they're trying to decide who's going to stay in the church and who's not. Y'all had to have my own mind. I said, yeah, I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't agree. A lot of people in the church, they didn't agree with what I was doing. They didn't agree with me leaving. You know what I'm saying? But when they tried to question me about it, you know what I'm saying? I have historical facts to back up. And then I'm using your own Bible that you used to turn me into a disciple. I'm using that against you. You know what I'm saying? Not against God, but I'm using it against you. You know what I'm saying? Because you are trying to control my mind. That's what Carter G. Woodson said about people being mind controlled. And they tried to control my mind. I said, yo, you know what? Gotta have my own mind. You gotta be your own person and be your own leader. And that's what I decided to do. So I bounced. I left church altogether, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not saying for anybody here that's listening or anybody who will listen, if you're in the church, I'm not telling you to leave. But what I'm saying is that if that's going to bring you your strength, okay, so be it. But know the difference between being religious and being spiritual. I consider myself to be spiritual. I consider myself to be well connected with God and well connected with my ancestors. I'm real big on being connected with my ancestors. Warren G, you hear me talk about the ancestors all the time because that's what they want us to overlook. They want us to look at our ancestors as being demon worship and pagan worship, but you can look at their ancestors as being angels. I consider my ancestors angels. So I don't say angels, I say my ancestors. So I try to be well connected with God and my ancestors. I respect life, you know what I'm saying? Like I respect trees, you know what I'm saying, from being chopped down and everything because God is in that. I respect water being polluted because God is in that. Anything that's living, God is in it. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not saying God is a he or a she. I'm saying God is God. Nobody from what I know, nobody lived to come back and tell me how God actually look if it's a female or a male. But what I'm saying is when I have my own mind, brother, I respect life itself. Now I'm not gonna be no coolie and look at other people and be naive as if trouble can't come to me. But what I'm saying is I respect life though. So when I see another black brother, I see him as a brother. So when I want to retaliate, if I'm frustrated at this, I have to look at it and say, this is my brother. That's my sister. You know what I'm saying? So I got to come at it from a different angle. You know what I'm saying? So have your own mind. Know the difference between being religious and being spiritual. Being religious is just following a set of rules, a set of traditions. You know, you don't even know why you're following these traditions. You don't know why you are going through every year with Christmas, but you do it because you just say that it's good for the kids, but you don't know the real meaning behind it. You're just following the religious belief. You know what I'm saying? Know know the history behind these holidays, know the history behind the religious perspective, because the religious perspective is how they enslave the world. That's how they played a trick on our mind spiritually, because physically and mentally they couldn't get there first. We rebelled. They got there spiritually. That's how. How did they assassinate spiritually? They're still doing the same thing by keeping us in a stupor spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So understand that religion is just a tradition that you just follow, but being spiritual is being connected with the spirit, with the one and only spiritual force that has created the creator. You know what I'm saying? And have your own mind, because at the end of the day, if you're going to be spiritual, spiritual people have their own mind. They know how to connect with other people. They know how to speak. They know how to understand other people. It may not go according to your plan all of the time, because you're dealing with imperfect people. But that's where being spiritual comes in, that because now you can begin to have some sort of patience. You know what I'm saying? You can begin to restore some sort of knowledge between you and that brother and sister. You can transfer and transmit information. So that's what I would say, brother, is just understand the spiritual aspect, understand the religious aspect, and have your own mind.
Thanks, my brother. We have
Hey, right?
a brother on there. Is it Two Divine Worlds? Go
Yeah,
ahead, man. Just
yeah.
we
Through the
getting ready to
world.
wrap up. Yeah, we get ready to wrap up the space, man. You kind of caught us at the end, but man, go ahead and
I
give us a
apologize.
little take of it. No, go ahead and give us a little your perspective on the subject matter.
All right, I'm gonna keep it real, and I'm gonna crash land my plane. All right, boom. I had another name on here. Some of y'all might remember, if y'all do, which was G World 777. They permanently banned me. So if I put my face on there, they'll ban me. Whatever. Beside the point. Back to the topic. Okay. I work at a black church, a black church, a Baptist black church in Beverly Hills in Brooklyn. I've seen Eric Adams come through. I've seen all the good situations in Brooklyn. They all came here. Why? Because every church is on code. Let me tell you something about something else, real talk. Every church has a meeting every year. How I know? Because I work for a pastor. They have a meeting every year. Every pastor meets up to get on code in all states, everywhere. It's a conference. It happens. We had one here at church. It's Baptist. Means nothing. The pastor's bored. That's why you don't pay taxes. My pastor's a Mason. We had Masons in here that you probably seen at your church or seen in public. Yeah. It ain't that crazy. Our Charlotte still comes because of Dr. Jones. Anybody know about Dr. Jones? But I'm still on the point. Point is, religion has always been used to enslave black people, and then following nothing but the code. All this stuff that's going on right now, from the epidemic, everything, the pastors are told and they follow suit. It's this: either you do it or you lose your church. It's a fact. It's a real fact. I My pastor, Dolphus C. Lacey. That's my pastor of the church that I work for. I work for the church of Beverly Stuyvesant. I work for it. I've been coming here since Dr. Jones, through my grandmother, through my uncle and whatnot. I see through what it was. I got a job. Don't get me wrong. Here's how it goes down, right? I used to work at the garden. Did some things, got locked up, came out. But no, got arrested, came out. Never got locked up, came out. They gave me a job. They gave me a job and accepted all my background, no drug test, nothing, none at all, to get numbers in. And they saw who I was. The reason why they accepted me in because of who my uncle was and who I look like. I'm a street individual. I've been in the street. And they assume that being in the street, you'll bring people in. You gotta understand, this church right now, it is a brainwashing thing. It's built to brainwash. To brainwash black folks to not make your own decisions. To follow what the pastor said. You put a black face there, we're gonna follow you. That's how it goes. That's why I got Black Noir on the cover of my fucking face. Cause when I put my face on here last time, I got banned, and they said you're permanently banned from here. My face ain't like that, so I cannot have my face. My voice they can't ban yet. My face, yeah. I've seen Eric Adams. I've seen a lot of everyone except Mayor de Blasio. Mayor de Blasio refused to come to Best Style or deal with anything black in the church, even though you're married to a black woman that was lesbian and she got shit going on with her. It's very weird with that kind of shit. I'm telling you. This whole religion is deeper than that. It's a mind control that they still won't give up because it still controls black folks. Now, I don't land my plane, I crash land. Now I'm gonna tell you something real. What's about to happen right now at my job is the vaccination again. I swear to God, when I set it up, it looked like black concentration camps. Like we feeding you poison. Set up in little individual cubicles, like you're voting for the wrong person, but you're dying at the same time. Now, what I will say is, yeah, I work. It's a job, mind. It's a job. My family go the whole nine. It's a job. Yeah, I joined the church. I joined it. I joined everything. I did. I don't believe in a religion. I joined. I've been arrested a lot of times in the street. Never really locked down anything like that. But the point being is though, um, every black person in the situation of being a pastor, a follower, a potential leader that they see gain the access. Even mind you, my pastor's from Kansas City. He came from Kansas City here, Westchester first, then here. Remember, Westchester first. They had to see if he's okay. Bring him back to Best Eye. After that, oh yeah, we had many times many black people came. We're having a Block Party 17 coming. September 17th on Marcus Garvey between Acadian and Marcus and McDonald. I don't care the address I'm giving up. I'm known around. I've been in music.
I'm sorry, my brother, man. We gotta end it because we getting ready to end the plane, bro. But you gotta land it, brother Roy. If you got something to say, you gotta go ahead and say it. We've been on here for a while, brother Roy and everybody, but we gotta get you to land that. Go ahead, brother Roy. You want to touch on any final last words?
No, I just wanted to jump with what Brother Compromise said. uh, Basically, they took the chains off our bodies and put them on our minds to control us and give us the illusion of freedom. And I'm going to say one more thing that the brother didn't say. I'm going to say it. God is male and masculine. He gave us the Holy Spirit, the feminine form of the yin and the yang. It's always, always there. So we need to understand that we got both of them. We ain't going to be confusing everybody to say, well, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what it is. Because if you read the book, it told you what he was. He came down and hit Hercules. I mean, not Hercules. Hit what you would call his hip and broke his hip as a man. But he gave you the Holy Spirit, the comforter. That's the female part of it. And I'm going to end it with, I love you, brothers. Keep up the fight until the end. Blessings.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, Sister Banana, how you doing? Look, me and David, like I said, we do this all the time. This is our second day in a row doing this, man. We have these great conversations. We probably do a part 3 about religion and Black Americans as well. I appreciate everybody coming to the space. I appreciate my brother David from No Compromise, my brother Roy. Roy, I want you to link up. Before we end it, I just want to get some last words from my sister. Hold on. Don't leave, sister. I want to hear what you got to say real quick. Go ahead. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. You can go ahead and say something.
For me?
Yeah, you.
Okay, thank y'all so much because y'all know I always come on here, but I'm just gonna say something really, really quick. As far as and thank y'all so much. This is like the best space ever, like for real, for real. I'm driving, so I just want to say that somebody asked, they posed a question like, what are the top 5 things that a woman should find in a man? And the number one choice that I picked was that he has to be able to see the God within himself. There's a God above in the spirit, but then you have to bring that spirit back into you and thrive and be the God. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Sister, we got to get you on again with our brother Roy and David Roy and Bad Boy. We need
Yeah,
that feminine. We need divine
I
femininity
love
in
my
our
boy.
spaces.
Roy, the first time I heard you speak today, oh yes. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Y'all already know FBA all day and No Compromise. Y'all know I got much love for y'all. So y'all got, if I see y'all on the space and I can come in, y'all got first dib on it just on GP because I know it's gonna be the real, and that's what we need. So thank y'all so much, and I'm gonna keep quiet now.
Yo,
No, you
yo,
good.
hey,
Hey,
yo,
hey,
hey, yo,
David, go ahead and respond to that.
no. I just wanted to say, you know what? And actually, my homegirl Tina, she's in the space right now, and I know she got in a little late, but me and her actually we used to go to the same church. You know what I'm saying? And she got her own.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
she got her own.
so we
She
have
got her.
a so David,
Yeah,
we got
yeah.
a Kojic in the building, huh?
Yeah, but you know what, the one that we went to was they called themselves non-denominational, but they followed the same suits that Kojic follow. You know, so yeah, I didn't mean to like put her on the spot, whatever. I don't know, she, you know, if she wanted to say anything, whatever. But yeah, we went to the same church, so and she got a lot of experiences dealing with religious people and cults, you know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly what we was in. You know, we was in the church that we was in, we thought it was a church, but in all reality, the church turned out to be a cult. And that, to me, that happened twice. You know what I'm saying? So you know, she be on a mission to basically warn people about, you know, getting wrapped up into these cults. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, man. So yeah, like I said, we was in the same church, man, and I just wanted to give her a shout out, man. That's my homegirl. We grew up together like since like high school, bro. So yeah.
Shout out to that. Shout out to Sister Tina in the building. We appreciate you, Tina, being here. Look, this is something that I've observed before we get out of here. A lot of, and I'm going to let Tina give us a little bit uh, of her insight. A lot of these churches that are non-denominational, they still, like you said, David, they will preach from that same and teach from that same context of where they got it from, because they know Kojic, especially Kojic, those type of churches, it has a tendency to scare people because people grow up Kojic and they don't want to be involved in it no more because a lot of the strict rules and regulations. But here, let me go ahead and let me get this sister on. Go ahead, sister. You got something to say?
You guys hear me?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I came super late cuz I was cooking and stuff, and then I remembered like David told me, he was going to do this podcast. I was like, "Oh, snap, I want to hear it cuz I didn't know that. Like I know that you left the church, but I didn't know that you were on this new spiritual route. So like I'm actually pretty excited about that. But I'm not sure exactly the fullness of what you guys are talking about because like I said, like I came in late. But I think it's cool that you guys have these conversations, especially when it comes to churches and like cults and stuff and in the black community, because that's something that I feel is really important that I try to stress to people too. Because I talked to a lot of people who were involved in cults and the same cult me and David were in, and they're dealing with a lot of the same psychological effects, but mental health plays a huge role in it too. And you know that like mental health is not taken seriously at all in society in general, but especially in like the black communities. Like growing up, mental health wasn't taken seriously in school. It wasn't really taken seriously enough. I don't even feel like they spoke about it enough in schools. So then you end up being a part of the world and society, and now you're dealing with mental health issues. Then you turn to these churches and organized religion. I mean, for me, I grew up in Christianity, but turning to these organizations, it's so easy for them to take advantage. But mental health was something that I personally struggled with a lot, and when I was in the cult that we was a part of, that wasn't taken seriously. So I just think it's good, that you guys are talking about this. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for bringing awareness and for speaking on this issue.
No problem. No problem. Look, we'll probably do a part three on it too. Um, it is very, very imperative.
Gotta do a
It's very,
part three. We
yeah.
gotta do one.
We got to do a part three on it too, because I think it's very imperative that we discuss these things, because this particular subject matter, people want to stay away from it. But I feel, and I agree with David and Roy, and I agree with Bad Boy, but I do agree with David, and like you're right, they will turn to the black church when they want that vote. So it's like we have to start educating ourselves. I appreciate everybody being out. David, thank you, my brother, for giving us the 2 hours of your time. I really appreciate it. And no, I really do, my brother. And you know, look, I try to be nice, but you know, this is me and me and David started this. People who want to join, that's fine. But like, I like to get his perspective because this is no diss to nobody. But I like to get the perspective of people that have experiences and people that are very well read. And our brother David is very well read. When you talk to somebody and they can quote references and authors